What's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys your review for Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 12, Episode 24, The Reunion Part 1. Just want to say that I did record this yesterday, and for whatever reason there was no audio, so we're doing it again. I couldn't give it to you guys yesterday because by the time I realized there was no audio, I was 30 minutes out from Part 3 airing, so it is what it is. But here we are. So Part 1, opens with the girls. Nene's new single's doing well. Kenya's husband Mark is in New York volunteering, feeding hospitals. Cynthia's in LA. The wedding is still set for I think it's 10/10/20. Portia is with her crown. Andy asked Kenya about it. She said, "Well, if you can't earn one, then you buy one." They have a laugh there. Portia says that was shady, and then she said, "At least mine's not dusty." So they're good at the moment. Candy, baby Blaze is 5 months, and she's good. Eva's settling into her new house. They get into the alter egos. So Nene versus Nene, Cynthia versus 50 Cent, Candy versus Soul Bae, Kenya versus Ken. Nene says she likes Ken because Ken shuts the fuck up. Kenya says, well, maybe Nene needs to learn to shut the fuck up and be more like Ken. Nene says, no, Nene is like Ken. Nene is coming to get in that ass. Which that was funny. Judged by what we know, didn't quite work out the way that she said it. And she also said Nene always wins. Again, I don't know if that played out the way that she intended it to. Excuse me. So we get on Kenya's marriage. They're in counseling. She said Mark did a 360. I'm pretty sure she meant what she said, because a change would be a 180, 360, meaning you're back at the same exact place. But it could have been a slip of the tongue, and they're working on it, doing virtual counseling. The question is asked, since we know Mark was entertaining other women, how would you feel if Tanya brought them around? Now, she never answered the question, but what Kenya did was she clarified that the women that were contacting him were exes that didn't know that he was married, and he didn't shut it down in a way that she would have liked for him to. Let's see. Wow. Okay, so Kenya says that when it comes to problems, she likes to address them off camera, which is respectable. You know, check the motherfucker in the moment, but save all that venom for when you get the fuck off camera. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, she got a pay cut coming back, so you can't get him the full everything, and you got a fucking pay cut, but give him just enough to, you know, wet the palate. And Kenya says she fights people that she doesn't know, but when it comes to, you know, relationships, she's not a fighter, which I do understand that to a point. Where the reality is, the person that's going to actually get the rise out of me is going to be somebody that I'm close to, you know, so relatives, you know, or somebody I'm in a relationship with, or, you know, close friends. But I can understand her not wanting to fight, mostly given the fact that, you know, just wanting that peace and that serenity, and not necessarily wanting to, like, I'm at a place right now in my life where my peace, my joy, my happiness is paramount, and it comes first. Anyone or anything that jeopardizes it is getting this shit right here. I don't care who you are, like, that's paramount. And I've even found myself being back in Chicago when certain arguments are starting to form that I just back away slowly, where it's like, okay, this is going from a discussion to an argument. I'm not going to put all this energy into it, mostly given the fact that my mouth is flipping. I will go from 0 to 1,000,000, and I'm going to say some shit that, you know, is fucking irreparable, so I get it. So a comment is made about Kenya commenting on other people's marriages, and Kenya said, what about what they said? Now, okay. The only person that doesn't apply to is Kim Fields. So I can't back Kenya up at all when it comes to that, because from what we saw, Kim Fields didn't do shit to you. But Kenya's role on the show, I mean, we're going to be honest, her role on the show is to sit here and shake things up and help to, you know, like, push things along ever so slightly. And I mean, if Kenya has if she wouldn't do that, then what do we have? You feel what I'm saying? So I mean, her role is her role. As much as people may hate her, her role is her role. You may not like, you may hate her, but guess what? You love to hate her. It is what it is. So I understand her role and some of her antics. And of course, you're going to do what you need to do to stay on the show. You know, is it right? Most of the time, no. But we can say the same thing about Nene, some of the bullshit that Nene does. But nobody wants to call her out on that because Nene does a lot of fuck shit in order to stir up drama, cause controversy just to stay on the show, because as of late she hasn't really had much to bring to the show, and other people's storylines have been her storyline. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Portia jumps in to have her moment, brings up her ex-husband. I'm not going to go too deep into that because it's just like, I get where she's going, but you really don't, like, you're really not defending your point when you dog him out too. And a lot of what Kenya said, you actually alluded to yourself. So, and I'll say it now, and I'm going to say it, and I believe in part 2, is that she meaning Portia was looking for a reason to hate Kenya this season. She was looking for a reason. Once she got back in cool with Nene, she was looking for a reason to have a problem with her, because the issue couldn't just be, since I'm back friends with Nene, that's the reason that I don't like you. But we'll get there. Let me see. Nene brought up, this being karma for Kenya. Candy jumps in to say that she doesn't think it's karma. It's just, their relationship was fresh. They added a baby to it. There's long distance, and them learn to love each other. Now, was there Candy jumping in when she didn't need to? Yes. Can I appreciate it? I do. Because for what it's worth, on these reunions, there's always someone to back up someone else and come to their defense. This is one of the few times, if maybe the only time, that somebody has actually came to Kenya's defense. So I can appreciate that. I really can. So Nene is saying that had said, I believe in an interview, that Kenya didn't use her own head. Nene doesn't apologize and said other people have said things, so why are y'all jumping down my throat when other people have heard things, so I heard something. Why are y'all jumping down? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I can't find it. Okay, you know what? I will have to get this. Yeah, okay. That is so funny. Why did y'all tell me? Screw you guys. But I can appreciate the fact that Nene didn't apologize. Oh, she stood in her shit. I can appreciate that. And she's right. Other people have said, well, I heard this. So she heard something too, but it seems like now it's to the point where you hearing something is just a reason to, bash somebody. Because if you heard something, then you shouldn't have a problem with saying where you heard it from. If you're willing to say, well, I heard this, you should also be willing to say where you heard it from. So Eva says that is still becoming of a grandmother. Nene says this ain't your fight. Eva says whatever I wanted to be. Nene says she trying to turn that plum into a peach. That was funny. Eva says when they first met, she was on a red carpet that she was trying to get on. Nene says nobody cares about being on a red carpet 17 years ago. All you could talk about is top model. That was the last time you were on top. I was like, that was a good one. That was a good one. Nene didn't really have that many zingers, but that was a good one. She then tells Eva, you're a freshman. Eva says, you're a grad student double time. They keep on, arguing, and Andy mutes both of them. Andy was loving his mute button this reunion. Kenya says this is why people think that she's bipolar, and she started calling Nene that girl over there, which was hilarious. And one thing about this reunion is a nice chunk of their footage or receipts that Bravo was playing wasn't really coming from the show. It was stuff that was said on vlogs and blogs and all that other stuff, or what Wendy Williams said on her show, which was her calling Nene that girl over there. So that shit was hilarious. Kenya says, talks about the Buffalo comment and was saying, kids were supposed to be off limits. I've known things about your kids, her talking to Nene, and she said, I'm going to you about your kids, but you didn't give me that same thing. Rather, you brought it to, the table for everybody to see. I've never done it. I just came straight to you with it. Nene said, and then she said, Nene said that Brooklyn looks like Mark. Good thing, because those kids of Nene's look just like her. And then she said, now let's move on. I hollered. I fucking hollered. And Nene ain't had shit to say after that. I'm like, they being grimy. Nene is mad, calls Kenya more. Okay, tired. Kenya says she looks like a white woman in drag. I'm like, oh my God, stop it. Nene says your whole body is botched. And it's kind of hard for you to say that when your whole face is botched, but okay. Then Kenya said, I don't know if I'm watching a Real Housewives reunion or a scene from White Chicks. I never about fell the hell out. I was like, damn. Damn. Baby. Andy had then brought up about kids being off limits when Nene went at Sheree about her bringing up, I believe, her eldest son. And then Nene gets loud because, again, Nene has like one of 3 different tactics that she uses on a reunion. She just gets loud and over talks, repeats the last thing that you said and throw it back at you, or it's a girl bye, or I said it, whatever, let's move on. Like, those are her 3 go-tos. So in this instance, she said, I repeated what I heard about her kid. She repeated things as well. And it's like, can you just talk regular? It seems as though like we know that she had notes and whatnot, but it seemed like she was reading. I don't fucking know. She wasn't reading, but it seemed like she was reading off some paper. So then, some way, somehow, during this time, houses came up, and we're talking about evictions and foreclosures, and Portia was like, Eva, I thought finances was off limits, and you can see, I don't care what nobody says, people want to say that Eva was caping for Kenya. Well, damn it, Portia was grandstanding for Nene, because it seems like she was playing Captain Save that, you know what. So, and Eva was just like, well, y'all been talking about my finances as I've been on the show. She's like, well, apparently they're on the table now. I can't with Portia. And with the houses, Portia was just like, well, Eva, everybody got a house, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that, because you're diminishing her accomplishment. Because if y'all go back some seasons when Portia got her independence from her ex-husband, wasn't she happy that she got this house? Hasn't she been grandstanding about the house? Didn't her and Dennis have a comment about the house? But you're trying to sit here and diminish somebody else's, accomplishment of buying their own house. Plus, Eva has been in the entertainment industry. And when you're in an industry like that, especially, and I'll use Cynthia as the best example, doing all this traveling and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and not really being in one place for too long, buying the house is probably not advantageous. And more or less in the industry, depending on where you are within that industry, like your paycheck comes with the job, and you may not know when that next job is going to come. And modeling can't, from what I see, seems a little bit fickle. So yeah, because I'm not even gonna go there with Portia. I'm gonna let her live anyway. Portia said, Eva said, and you're all older than me. Portia said, you're no spring chicken. Eva says, but you're an age 10. Now, again, I don't like Portia, but she gave her ass a 2-piece and a biscuit when she said, your breasts are age 10. They're social distancing. I wasn't ready. I really wasn't. Kenya being married came up because Nene had so much to say. Kenya provides proof that she is in fact married. Nene says well she just doesn't care, which is funny. Cynthia jumps in because since we're talking about Nene claiming that marriage was fake, well, Nene also said that Cynthia's relationship was fake. Nene got mad, said y'all not gonna direct everything at me, and then she closed the laptop. And you had Kenya that saying, "Now, girl, you need to come back. He wasn't in that many episodes for me." It was at this time that Tanya and Marlo came in. I don't know if they was meant to come in at this point or because they lost Nene that they brought them in. But they were in add another. Nene returned, said I had to pee and change my tampon, and it's like that is TMI. Plus, that's a lie, because if that was the case, you could have easily said, you know what, Andy, I need to go to a little girl's room. I'll be right back. So, yeah, miss me with the lies. They talk about Candy being the bone collector. She said, well, look, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. I was friends with everybody. But let's be honest. Candy knew what she was doing. She's having to help move these stories along. There needs to be a bone, carrier. Cindy tried to do it one season, she fucking sucked at it because Phaedra got in that ass. I don't like Phaedra, but hey, she got in that ass. It is what the fuck it is. But with Candy is self-made. Who really gonna check her? Nobody. Does she really need this show? No. Does she benefit from it? They all do. And let's be clear, like typically when somebody has a rough season, they get 1 or 2 seasons off. So look, this was Candy, season to just, really coast. And just, do what it is that she needed to do. So, hey, she carried the bone, It what the fuck it is. Because if not, and here's the thing, if she didn't carry the bone, and then somebody just mysteriously knows that somebody said something else, then of course we go know that production did it. So, come on now. Then we bring up Eva forgetting what she says. Portia says Eva talked about her child. And then Eva brought up Nene called her, Nene said she looked like Dennis 5 times. And Portia's yelling, I would never forgive you. And then says that your baby looks like a clone with a bib. Eva says she does look like Dennis. Where is the lie? And the thing is it a jab? Yeah, obviously it was a jab. It was meant as a jab. We all know it was a fucking jab. But what is interesting is the fact that hit her so hard meant, that it's a couple of things. Because typically, like, unless the man, has very androgynous features, to sit here and say that a female child looks like the daddy, sometimes that's saying, she got some strong features there that are not, feminine. Or saying that is an implication that, she like the daddy may not be too cute. And the fact that Portia got so up in arms about it means that you're insecure about the person that you allowed yourself to let hit you raw, and now you had a motherfucking kid with. So the reality is the fact that she doesn't want to address that. Granted, was it shade? Of course it was shade. Was that a dig? Yeah. Was that low-key Eva trying to call her baby ugly? Fuck yeah, it was. We know what the fuck it was, but the fact that Portia couldn't answer it, and she wanted to dance around it, says an awful fucking lot. And then she said that Eva looks like a thumb with lips. The nappy-headed comment comes up, and Eva was like, so we go act like we don't say this. Look, a lot of shit that we say happens to be table talk. Kenya explain. Now, first and foremost, Kenya explained it. We know that Kenya didn't need to explain it, but this was Kenya trying to help Eva out. I don't think Eva took it because Eva was still trying to be defensive, but she could have just been silent with that. But we all know within the African American community that colorism exists. I don't know if Eva is or isn't a colorist, but colorism does exist. And in the world that we live in, if you line up African Americans of every shade from darkest to lightest, more often than not, depending on the project, most people are going to go with the lighter complected African Americans or the racially ambiguous ones. It just is what the fuck it is. And of course, the whole paper bag test, can you pass? And a lot of this shit is rooted in slavery and whatnot. This ain't the time of the conversation for it, but we all know what it is. Nene It's all about the apology tour of Nene. Nene's relationship with Winnie comes up. She says they're in a neutral place. They're like, what the fuck does that mean? Kenya breaks down the whole debacle, which it was great. Tanya was like, well, I don't think it was that deep. And Kenya was like, did you watch the interview? Because I'm going to be honest, shit. Like, I'm cool with people on YouTube. I got some friends. I got some associates. Yeah, if a motherfucker like, oh, well, you know, spilling all tea is, you know, that boy over there. Yeah, I'm probably going to feel it like, the fuck you mean? Fuck you mean, man? So, it does sound bad. It really does. And Candy then goes on to talk about how Nene is strategic with her relationships, and had there been any other person that said about Nene, Nene would have went smooth the fuck off. Portia have said to Kenya, you bringing up receipts, whereas the receipt, so her receipt is when, and apparently it was like 3 years ago-ish, when she was doing Celebrity Apprentice, that Nene was calling the girls saying, y'all think she's stupid, look, she out here making moves, what we gonna do? Now here's the thing, I believe Kenya. Why do I believe Kenya? It's all about watching people's body language and what people do, what people say, what they don't do, what they don't say. The first thing out of Nene's mind is, shut up, bitch. If you didn't say it, you could easily be like, I did not say that. That conversation did not happen. So with that being, and of course the whole, well, it was so many years ago. But for me to find out that somebody was plotting against me, I don't give a fuck how long that shit was. Hold on, like, we don't have to reevaluate this fucking relationship. You plotting on me? Word? You jealous? All right, cool, bet. So Portia says she has receipts. Kenya mad at Cynthia, saying that, you know, she gonna get her ass when the time is right. So Andy says to her, screenshot and send it to me and send it to Cynthia. And Kenya was like, why don't you send it to everybody? But she sends it to those two. We will revisit that in part 2. And then, you know, it comes about the whole comment of Portia saying, you know, life was so hard without you, to Nene. And Portia said she's going through tough times in her life, and Nene was always there, so she believed that during this tough time in her life, Nene would have been there for her. But Candy was just like, you were going through this tough time in your life, and this is when she dogged your ass out the most. So to hear you say that shit sounds crazy, especially when she was the main one telling people don't get back cool with her. And then it's this haters talk, and then Nene and Candy get into it, and everybody get into it, and then it goes off. So that was part 1. I'll be back for part 2. Peace.